Hello, magical being. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda, and this is Awakening Mastery with Amanda, where I share the wisdom that I have learned about mastering the journey of awakening as we awaken the master within. So today I'm going to discuss Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, because a huge part of this journey is about resurrecting the organic truth of our world and allowing organic consciousness to return into our awareness as we remember the truth of who we are and who we came here to be. So this journey of remembrance is really powerful, and it calls us to really keep shedding the layers of illusion as we move forward. And Friday the 13th is a really poignant example of a lot of the distortions, illusions, and inversions of our matrix, because it represents the inversion and absolute elimination of the divine feminine 111 on the timer. So as most people are aware, at least in Western cultures, Friday the 13th has been deemed highly unlucky. And in this video, I'm going to basically expand upon the video that I created about a year ago on Friday the 13th. So I will link that below, because it adds a whole nother layer of perspective to the divine feminine that I will not repeat in this video. And I will just elaborate and expand as I have evolved my consciousness and awareness and learned more what I have learned since. So and things that I didn't share then, I will share now. So let's get into it. So for millennia, 13 has been deemed unlucky, and Friday the 13th extra unlucky, associated with, really bad things, typically. So 13, the origin of 13 is that it was connected to the lunar cycles, to the feminine cycles, to the cycles of nature itself as well. And as most of us are aware, the divine feminine is very much connected to and attuned to and part and parcel of the cycles of the seasons, the cycles of nature. So the seasons each have 13 weeks. There are 13 lunar cycles within the year, and it's pretty common knowledge and wisdom that feminine cycles are typically connected to the moon cycles. So that's that. But there's actually a whole lot more to it, because technically, lunar consciousness is part of the distortion itself, part of the entrapment of the matrix, honestly. Now, that's a whole nother subject for another video, but I want to bring that up because there is a higher level frequency to the number 13 that is wanting to be restored and remembered as well. As we ascend from lunar to solar consciousness, there is a transfiguration happening in the collective consciousness where we are kind of breaking free from the lunar matrix and anchoring in the solar feminine aspects, which is really more closely aligned with the Christed aspects of who we are, the Christos Sophia. So as we do so, I think it's really fun and important at the same time to understand a little bit more about the number 13 and its history and stuff like that. So I was, let's make this video. So ancient Egyptians actually did see it as lucky. Now we can discuss how there was a lot of distortion in the Egyptian traditions and the mystery schools and all of that. But for now, the lucky number 13 represented the 13 rungs of the ladder of ascension of consciousness towards spiritual completion of the soul. It wasn't 10, it wasn't 12, which are typically numbers associated with completion. 12 is a very powerful, very spiritual number that is connected to Christ consciousness, the 12th dimension, Christ consciousness. Yesterday was the 12-12 portal, in fact. So this is a very potent time of alchemy. I recommend the last two videos that I created as well on the 12-12 portal, which is opening to the winter solstice. And the Advent and Ophiuchus season that we are in the midst of still currently. So it's this golden gateway that is opening, the silver and the gold, the silver representing, man, God representing gold. That is also occurring with all this. So it's also the silver and gold of the feminine that is being transformed and transfigured, transmuted. All of these terms connected to alchemy is exactly what's happening in our system as we raise our consciousness. So the lunar feminine would be connected to the silver, while the solar feminine would be connected to the gold. And this isn't to say the lunar feminine is bad. It was part of our evolution, and now it is time to continue evolving. As more information and consciousness comes into the planet, as the solar codes are activating our DNA and upgrading our systems to remember this higher truth, that there is this 13 associated with the mother's aqua ray, the 13th pillar, that is a very high level frequency of consciousness. And then when you get above 12D into 13 to 15D, that's essentially God world consciousness. So we don't actually want to totally stop at 12 and we want to really connect back with that 13, the powerful vibration of 13. Everything is vibration in our universe, and numbers carry vibration. People are very familiar with 369 at this point, and so we know that these numbers hold codes for us if we connect with them. Now there's also this idea of the 13th zodiac that I just kind of mentioned. So it's technically a constellation in galactic astrology, Ophiuchus. Now, I won't get into that because I just created a video on it, but is again another example of how 13 was cut off. We now only work with a 12 zodiac. We have 12 seasons rather than 12 months rather than 13. So there's just a lot of examples of how 13 was kind of cut off from our consciousness, not to mention elevators and airport rows and all that kind of thing. So this is a really potent opportunity for alchemy and reclamation when we can remember and attune to the higher frequency of truth connected to this number, to the number 13. Now, another reason I felt really compelled to start speaking into this more is because on this level, I should say, is because what I have seen, I saw a lot of posts on Friday the 13th and the Priestess Collective and a lot of these divine feminine mentors and these people talking about the goddesses and the goddess traditions. This isn't to cast judgment, but an observation that I have made is that many of them are still very much operating in lunar consciousness because it is very obvious and clear that they have not truly seen through the veil. They have not pierced through the veil of illusion, as evidenced by their public posting of, certain things related to politics and celebrities and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're still operating in that distortion very, very clearly because you haven't had that level of discernment to see that yet. And some of them have very large followings. So this is the only reason I'm really speaking into it, is because, again, not to cast judgment, but to bring a layer of awareness and discernment, because so many are still caught in that illusion and passing down those distortions of frequency through the distorted teachings. This may be really confronting for some to learn that a lot of their cherished divine feminine goddess teachings may carry distortion, that the goddesses themselves may carry distortion. I very much connected with, and I still do, I still very deeply connect with the priestess path. And, it's, I don't want to say I felt so confronted though, because it immediately resonated as deep truth when I started to see that there was something else going on there. So it's like, if you're on the path of mastery and here to truly restore organic mother consciousness to the planet, this will resonate deeply with you as a deep remembrance, less so triggering. And you might move through a little bit of triggering. I'm not going to deny that that might be a part of the process for some people. But for those of us who are here to restore organic truth and to operate in this ascended solar consciousness, to ascend out of the lunar matrix that keeps us in a frequency fence, like a consciousness trap. It's like a consciousness ceiling, if you will. Then this will resonate as a deep remembrance more so than a triggering 1010 on the timer, as I said that. So it's a time of completion of that old cycle. So this journey, we must remember, is constantly calling us to go deeper and to continually shed and evolve, continually shed and evolve. That is what the path of mastery is about. And the way of love helps us open to more and more love blossoming from within, which will allow us to receive these codes of illumination as the rose of our heart blossoms open. The rose is very intimately connected, the beautiful divine frequency of the rose with the divine feminine. And these codes from Venus and Sophianic consciousness, many of them are true and organic, and many of them have been distorted. So it is time for us to, and it was 111 on the clock when I said that again, so it is time for us to really open ourselves up to restore the truth. 1111, it is time to walk through that portal, that gateway into higher consciousness of higher truth, of the solar feminine that really wants to be anchored in right now. I have been working very deeply with this mother consciousness and working with the frequency of Mother Mary and a lot of beautiful energies that are connected with her, and this purity of truth that is just wanting to come through to be rebirthed. So now is also the season where we recognize the Immaculate Conception. Now I want to also acknowledge that this was probably not the time when Yeshua was actually birthed. There's multiple different theories on that, and I think there are a couple that are different that hold validity. So it's like, these layers of truth are continually coming through. But when we connect with the organic cycles of nature, this is the birth of the sun. 12:12, I just saw 12:12 on the timer. This is the birth of the sun. The time of the birth of Christ consciousness, the second coming of Christ onto the planet. So as we connect with these deeper truths, I have been really working to integrate it, and I've received really beautiful visuals and insights into what the upcoming winter solstice ceremony is meant to bring through, to bring forth. So I've been working on that, and it's really beautiful and magical. So if that resonates, I invite you into the winter solstice ceremony, which I will hold Friday the 20th. It will be recorded. The replay will be available. So you can tune in anytime over the solstice portal and beyond, because these energies still carry through. It's all quantum. Time is an illusion, something I discussed yesterday. But these dates still help us to anchor in to the reality that we're living in now. So it's all still beautiful. So we're gonna really work to restore and resurrect the organic blueprint of the mother that we all contain within, the organic blueprint of the divine feminine. And I'll discuss more about the Holy Trinity, the true Holy Trinity, and Immaculate Conception and divine birth. So the solstice is a portal, and we'll be opening the portal just a little early on Friday the 20th. But that Friday is Venus Day, so it will still carry those codes of the feminine. I was in meditation last night, and I was guided to change it to Friday. So this is what we're going to do, and the replay will be available. And I'll have that in the description below. And I also just want to share that for anybody who is interested in reading my book, Let There Be Light. This was originally downloaded this time of year 4 years ago. Ding, ding, ding. And it is now in book form, heavily edited and elaborated on. And I will be hosting a book club on 111. So now would be a beautiful time for you to get your copy and tune in and connect with us on 111, another portal day, if you will. So it'll be really fun. So anyway, I will drop the link for this below as well as for my program, which is truly about mastery. So if that resonates, you want to look into how you can work with me on a deeper level, on a deeper capacity, then I will add that information below. If you're interested in one-on-ones, you can send me an email. So I am sending you much love, onward and upward in love and light. And of course, I always appreciate this, like, subscribes, comments. How is this information landing and resonating with you? Like, is this new to you? Is it upsetting? Or does it resonate as deep truth for you? I would very much like to hear, and I honor all perspectives, but this is where my journey of evolution has been carrying me, and I keep going and I keep going. So thank you so much for being here, onward and upward in love and light, and I will see you soon.